I wanted to talk about something that I don't talk about very often. And I saw something last night on LinkedIn, and it was talking about how we as a society don't talk about failure as much as we should. We are always out there highlighting successes and growth and achievements. And what we don't see is all the failures that sit behind it, and how much growth actually comes from failure. And I always like to think that failure isn't a final act unless you allow it to be. Like, we're out there learning from failure. And one of the ones that always kind of is in the back of my mind as an individual is as I was going through school at NC State, I actually failed out as a sophomore, wrapping up my sophomore year, and was not invited back to school. And so I stumbled around out there for a while. I took some bartending classes. I was going to go out to Las Vegas and bartend out there. Fortunately, that didn't end up happening. And when that didn't come to fruition, I ended up going to DC and working for a catering company, and made some pretty good money. But in the process, I realized that was a hard life, and so I started stumbling for what to do next. I ended up running across Alan Greenspan, reading his book, and was like, well, wait a second, I want to go back to school. This economics thing seems like I could actually get into it. And so what the failure had led me to do is now all of a sudden I had to go back to NC State and say, hey, wait a second, how do I get back in? And so I went to the business school, and I was like, look, I think I'm interested in economics. I think I can do it, and I need a second chance. And so the head of the business school at NC State was like, look, I need you to go take some classes at your local community college. I need you to get A's in your classes in your local community college, and then we'll accept you back into NC State. But upon getting back in NC State, you're still going to have to apply to the business school. And in order for us to accept you in here, given your past indiscretions, your past lack of achievement, we need you to come back into school, and the first semester we need you to get over a 3.5. And I was like, okay, well, I'll do that. And so it led me to go back and take some community college classes and get A's, and then it led me to come back to state and come in, and that next semester finish with an over a 3.5, which got me through the economics program, and allowed me to graduate. And what I learned from that was, I can do that. Like, I have skills, I have knowledge if I apply myself. And so as I started to get out of school and applied myself to future studies for the CFP exam and all the other exams that I had to take, I had that confidence that flowed through me. And it all goes back. I don't know if I would have just skated through college, if I would have come out of college with the same confidence, knowing that, look, man, I'd failed. But as part of that failure, I really had to buckle down and succeed. And so as a result of that, I knew that when the time was necessary, if I buckled down, that's all I needed to do to succeed. And so that failure is what I think has ended up creating that success for me. And I think we need to champion those failure stories more often and really embrace them, because when all we see is success, then we don't acknowledge the fact that there are failures along that path to success, and we glorify the failure or glorify the successes. And then when people hit that tough road, they think, well, I'm not built for this. And that's not true. The people that created those successes also had those failures. They had those challenges, and they need to be talked about. They need to be spoken about, because they're such an integral part of the process of the growth of the story, of the mission, of the journey. So let's embrace some failures here over the course of the next couple of months, talk about them and celebrate them.